for the last 4 to 5 weeks, things are actually quite adverse for businesses as an environment. So what is the current scenario? What are the market threats that are currently we are facing, all of us are facing? Rising COVID cases, although the second wave, the federal government is saying, is slightly coming down. We can see that in the reported numbers, if I may. But at the same time, there's the challenge of vaccine shortages. There is the rising health expenditure that every household is facing. So when you look at it, there's increased medical costs, there are job losses. Today's CMI data, CMIE data said that unemployment rate crept up to 14.7%. That is again recorded CMI recorded data. Some MSMEs and startups indeed have started failing because of their businesses are challenged completely. Families actually have started over saving, and that leads to a stress on the overall scenario in terms of consumption. And of course, unlike the 2020 lockdown that happened, and there was revenge buying and there was pent-up demand that came in, economists this time are fearing that there's going to be no pent-up demand when, as and when the lockdown gradually opens. Let's look at economy, the industries that will continue to and have continued to thrive. So e-commerce, of course, absolutely continues to thrive, although in a slightly cut down fashion, because e-commerce only for essential goods. IT services, infra and engineering, education tech absolutely is rocking the boat right now. Phenomenal growth, and telecom. Industries that are steady and stable, FMCG, although FMCG has seen slightly tepid demand in the last month. Real estate in certain sectors is still steady and stable. Pharma and healthcare, of course. Power distribution, cement and steel still continues to be stable because large infra projects continue despite lockdown. But really, when you look at the strugglers right now, and there's a large list, from hospitality, aviation, banking, multiplexes, agriculture, textile, durables, look at auto manufacturing. And, these are auto manufacturing, for example, has such a phenomenal impact on the downstream industries that it supports. And these are industries that are challenged. So what do we as entrepreneurs, what about us and what should we be doing? Well, we can cry and crib, right? And as they say, if you're not helping make it right, then stop complaining about it being wrong. And that is what I would encourage all of you to think. I think it's a great quote. What can you as entrepreneurs do? Adapt your outlook to finding opportunities in the adversity. You are entrepreneurs after all. Adjust your business, your customer, and your offering. Develop to a new normal, which is the new normal that is coming in. And take action. And no better than working with your action coach to take action on this. So as the topic of the webinar suggested, I'm going to share with you 7 key principles that I believe are important for us to help you build back stronger than ever. Now, these 7 principles, again, remember, as I said, this is not rocket science that I'm going to tell you. Some of the ideas that I will talk about, you say, aha, yes, of course, I know this. The question, as I mentioned earlier also, is about the idea in your mind, and on the other side, implementing it on the ground. And that's really the key. The key is about implementation. So How many of us want to get off the block stronger than ever? And let's see some chat box. Are we ready to get going and bounce back stronger than ever? I don't see any response in the chat box. Is it yay, nay? Okay, yes, I can see some yeses coming through. Great. I know it's a tough environment right now, and so the first action that I want you to think of, the first action, and that is about speed and discipline. Speed and discipline, and when I say speed and discipline, remember, we are all in the same store. Every business that you know of is in the same store. The question before us is, how many of us are in a speedboat and how many of us are in a leaky dinghy? So the question is, how do you ensure that your boat and your business is in a speedboat? Think of Amazon. Amazon, as you know, today is the world's largest company by sales. And what's their key culture? For Amazon, the key mantra is in it, here, it's always day one, which means despite the fact that Amazon is one of the world's largest company in terms of sales, still treats itself as a startup. And therefore, the speed of action, the speed of decision making is far higher than most other companies. And they also believe in failing fast. If you have an idea, and as Jeff Bezos says, no decision that you can take is with 100% certainty. There will be decisions where you have variables, far greater variables than you can think of, but take a decision decisively and move forward. If it's a wrong decision, come back and correct it rather than not taking a decision, right? So actually, even not taking a decision is a decision in itself. So think about that, how fast you can get off the block, and you need to plan for that. You need to have the discipline to plan for that. So the next one and the next action is really about filtering your business knowledge. Now, what do I mean by filtering your business knowledge? What I mean here very simply is you have tons of data that you're collecting on a day-to-day basis with your business. The question is, how are you filtering the data to get business knowledge out of it? Because it is that knowledge that will help you make the right decisions. Warren Buffett, great investor, everybody looks up to him with investment tips and everything else, which businesses to invest in, which industries to invest in, had a fantastic quote. And he said, when the tide goes out, when there's low tide, it's only then you discover who was swimming naked. And right now, friends, the tide is down, and you don't want to be caught swimming naked. And what do we need to do to get back? Information that you derive, business knowledge that you derive from your business data is crucial for your success, and you need to have your fingers on the pulse of that data that is coming in and the knowledge that you're deriving out of it. So let's look at some of the key action points that I want you to take when you're looking at your data that is coming from your business. So the key action points are: look at your daily invoicing report, your weekly qualified leads. Remember, not weekly leads, but weekly qualified leads, because that tells you whether you have a possible significant sales funnel. Your weekly sales report, daily debtors report, weekly cash report, monthly at a monthly level, measure your P&L and your monthly balance sheet. Remember, these elements that I'm talking about, these reports that I'm talking about, literally, these are not negotiable. This is something that you should always be getting on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, at the end of the month. Your accountant, whoever is helping you put these reports together, it should be on your desk. And not only should be on your desk, you should actually look at it and filter out the key elements, the key true information and business knowledge from out of that, and then take action. So I have a quick request from all of you. If you all have a piece of paper and a pen at hand, on a scale of 1 to 10, and 1 being you're not deriving any business knowledge or not looking at these reports at the periodicity that I'm talking about, and 10 being yes, I have ticked all these and I'm doing all of them. Give me a number. And again, remember, be honest about it. Write it on a piece of paper, as well as if you want to write it on your chat box. Love to hear those numbers from you and love to see what numbers you're getting and where you are on filtering your business knowledge. Okay, I can see some numbers coming. Yeah, good. Keep them coming, folks. Great. Remember, keep that piece of paper with you because I'm going to come back to you with that. The next action point that I want you to take is articulate your focus. And when I say articulate your focus, it's not about focus about your business, but really articulating it to everybody across. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you want your organizations to achieve? Remember, your business will do what you tell it to do. And it's a classic quote. You are the driver of your business. If you want to drive fast, your business will drive fast. But if you want to take it easy, the business will take it easy. So folks, your business exactly does what you want it to do. And you can make it happen. So do not articulate between the negative and the positive. Hey, I had a great sale today morning, but in the evening, oh my God, I lost this one. And I'm oscillating between the negative and the positive. And you need to adapt a pragmatic approach in these times. Be real. And what you need to really offer are 2 things. Eliminate the fear, but more importantly, offer 2 C's, as I say. Offer certainty and clarity as your organization's focus. And again, I'm not saying that you need to be absolutely certain and provide clarity over the next 3 months, because we don't know what is going to happen in the next 3 months. It's that bad right now. But if you have certainty and clarity over the next fortnight, over the next 30 days, absolutely be clear on that, because that is what helps your organization to focus and get things going faster. Have a plan ready. And again, the question that I have, remember that piece of paper and pen? So good. On a score of 1 to 10 again, where at 1, you're actually not focused. And on 10, you're fully focused and you're articulating it absolutely clear. You have ticked out both the C's, certainty and clarity. Give me a number and write it down on a piece of paper. Okay, let me see. What are the numbers that I'm getting? Okay, yeah, I'm getting better numbers this time. So folks, in the earlier one, I am I was not getting those high numbers, but this one I'm getting slightly better numbers. Great, great, great. Keep it going. Remember to keep that piece of paper and remember your numbers. Next one, simple. Create momentum. Once you have to remember, momentum begets momentum. You need to move and keep your shoes on in your feet and keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. That is essential. Even one small step at a time. That is so important. Remember this equation, momentum is mass into velocity, and velocity here is speed with direction. It's not just speed. So really, you have the direction clear in your mind, and if you have to create momentum, you have to move and drive it with a certain speed in the right direction that you want to go. What are the key action points that we have here? And let's look at that. Do you have defined targets for your business, be it for the next 30 days, be it for the next 7 days, be it for the next fortnight, or be it for the next 90 days? Do you have those targets? Have you created a scheduler and tracker for your marketing activities? Remember, you're articulating your focus, and therefore you need to talk, and the communication, that the business communication that goes out from your office goes out in terms of marketing activities. So absolutely be clear and ensure that you have a scheduler and tracker for your marketing activities that you are following. Not only that, how are you to post relevant thought basis and on which platforms? That is where you will be out in front and come out as a leader within your community, within your stakeholders, that, hey, this business is giving a lot of thought leadership content. I need to look at them and look at and see how I can do business with them. So look at that. And again, back to my same question, on a 1 to 10, where 1 being that you don't have momentum, or you have least momentum, you're just sitting right now, holding your hands, waiting for this lockdown to open before you take action. To 10 being, yes, you're absolutely active, absolutely out there, getting it done, ready as soon as the lockdown opens to let the gates open, and I'm going to run and be the fastest business out there. So think about that. Give me a number. I can see some numbers coming. Yes, I can see, again, I can see clear focus on this and numbers coming. Very nice. Okay, good, good, good. Great. Okay. Okay, what's the next action point that I want you to take? Action 5, and this is very interesting. Management is not about managing people only. Actually, management is about managing individual activities, which your people are doing. So focus on outcome-based management and not activity-based. And I'll give you a simple example. And that's the most simple example that I could think of. For example, our plan should not be that I have to make 50 calls a day or 50 calls in a week. The plan should be, because doing 50 calls a day is an activity-based management and measuring that number of calls made. The real outcome-based management is where you say, okay, I need to have 10 customer conversations, because having 10 customer conversations is far more valuable and is outcome-based rather than somebody just doing the 50 calls. So think about that. Outcome-based management is what we need to focus on. Absolutely clear. if somebody turns around and one of your employees turns around and says, sir, sir or ma'am, I made 20 calls today and nobody picked up the phone, doesn't matter. Did you have 5 or 7 meaningful customer conversations? That's the key. That is where you will move forward. So with that, let's look at the current management scenario. The current management scenario is a lot of people, a lot of your employees would be working virtually. So what are the action points that come out of it? Establish virtual operating procedures. Now, what are virtual operating procedures? When employees are, and it could be that within your organization, 5 employees are working out of 5 different cities or 5 different locations. How do you ensure that they work collaboratively? They work with the same focus that is required to move the organization forward and to move towards your goals. That is putting some kind of virtual operating procedures in place to ensure that your organization moves forward. Remember, there was a recent study that happened. I think it was one of these big consulting companies where they said, if you're working out of single location, you can expect 100% collaboration. One more location added, the collaboration possibilities drives it down to 70%. And at the third location, when you're working out of 3 locations, it's actually down to 40%. So really think of how you can overcome that and look at virtual operating procedures to ensure that everybody who is virtually working is working in a very collaborative environment. Establish standard operating procedures within your organization. Everybody should know what's the next step in the process, because if they know the next step, you are actually cutting a lot of time in terms of decision making and in terms of people standing there doing nothing, saying, what should I do next? So there has to be an SOP in place for most and all of your key processes. Try and do that. Reallocate key roles and responsibilities. And this is far more important in current times. You should always have a plan A and a plan B, which means that your key employees definitely need to be covered by another key employee. Remember, any of your employees could be out of action tending to any close, near or dear ones because of the pandemic. And therefore, if he or she is out for 21 days tending to his or her near or dear ones, who is going to do their job? Therefore, there should always be 2 people ready to take on any job within your organization. This is crucially important for you to continue to manage your business well. Obviously, conduct weekly team meetings and one-to-one meetings that you should have with key employees. In some cases, even daily. And why I'm saying daily is it depends on the maturity of your staff. If you have mature staff, a weekly meeting is good enough, and a one-to-one meeting on a weekly basis is good enough. But if your staff is younger, if your business that you run is about young staff, then possibly even a daily call is essential to get them to focus on that day's goal and ensure that you are able to achieve them. So look at that. Define key projects every month so that there is focus and everybody is working on those key projects. You could also elevate your team skills, simple team skills like, okay, how can we do better on PowerPoint presentations? How can we do better on Excel skills? How can we work better on collaborative Google Sheets? All those things, if you should be able to and in a position to elevate your team skills, this is the time to do it. Again, on a 1 to 10, give me a number as to how good you are on management. Again, 1 being that you're not as good, you don't have virtual operating procedures, you don't have established operating procedures and blah, blah, blah. And 10 being, yes, I'm ticking all of these and I'm doing all of them. Absolutely A-okay. So give me a number. And also, while you're giving me a number, write it down with yourself on a piece of paper. Great. I can see some numbers going. Wonderful. Okay. The next action is about the customer. And remember, customer experience, believe me, is the key. You have to reach out. You have to reach out continuously to your customers. Remind them, despite the fact that your businesses are shut, you still, or your businesses are one of those which are strugglers right now. Still, you need to be in touch with your customers with something interesting. You know, for example, and I'm just thinking of the travel industry, which is probably one of the worst hit, especially since last year, or hospitality. You know, despite the fact that you can't offer and you know that your customers are not going to travel, still continuing to provide them with interesting places, interesting things that they could do once lockdown opens, and places that they could visit to, gets you in front of your customers, that they know that yes, you are there. Make it easy for customers to buy your products. Easy and accessibility is important, crucial. Remember, today, a Mercedes-Benz you could buy online, or even a Bullet motorcycle. You could buy it online. Don't need to go out anywhere. So really, even cars and bikes are being sold online. So how easy and accessible you're making your products and services to your customers is important. So create a customer outreach program. If you are doing that, wonderful. Make your products and services accessible to as many more customers. Adopt an omni-channel approach to reach out to your customers. So if you are, and if you were a traditional brick and mortar store, ensure that you're online available too, because that is going to help you, not now, not when the things open up, but it's going to help you all your life now. So that online availability needs to be there. You should have created standard scripts when you're interacting with customers, what to say, what not to say, how to say it. And lastly, are you measuring your customer satisfaction? And not only measuring it, once you measure it, what are you going to do to change that, to move the needle up? Those are some key action items that you should be taking with respect to improved customer experience. Again, on a 1 to 10, give me a number, where 1 being I'm not doing any of this, and 10 being I've ticked all the boxes and I'm absolutely on the ball with respect to customer experience. Okay, yeah, I can see some numbers coming. Okay, action 7, and this is very simply, I think in current times, if you're not inculcating empathy, you are doing something significantly wrong. Now, again, you would say and turn around and say, hey, businesses are not human beings. They don't have emotions, but the emotions come with the people that are in the business, right? So be considerate in your marketing message. That is so important. Request for an order rather than asking for a sale. And that I really love this line, because it tells you the difference that you need to be, the difference approach that you need to take when you are selling. Be considerate to your vendors, because just as you or your employees, somebody is impacted, somebody's nears and dears are impacted, your vendor also. So for your vendor, his or her nears or dears could have been impacted. And again, lastly, absolutely be considerate towards your employees. This is the time that you need to have a human face. You need to absolutely have a human face and show your heart, and really be empathetic around every action that you take. With that, I'm coming to a close. What I want you to do is, by now, you would have had 5 numbers with you, right? Give me a yes if you have 5 numbers. Can I see it on a chat box? Yes, we have 5 numbers. Good. Now, if you can for me, total up the 5 numbers that you have. Whatever number you get, multiply it by 2. And that is a percentage out of 100 that you're getting. So the question is, that's the number that you have out of 100. That's your score as to what is your current readiness about bouncing back stronger, bouncing back as soon as the lockdown opens. Now, what you need to do is think of each action item that I have talked about and see how you can move the needle. There's still time, how you can move the needle even 1 or 2 or 3 percentage points across each one of them. And that itself, you will see, will make a huge difference to your business as soon as things open up. So with that, I will let you be. This is my last slide. I can be reached at Ratish Pandey at actioncoach.com. You can reach me on the phone number that is there. Of course, you can follow me on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, and what have you. Having said that, thank you so much for